Today, my presentation is on my path to discovery through the literary review process. My presentation is entitled Voyage into the Unknown, Discovery in the Literature Review. Today, we'll be covering the following topics in our agenda. It all starts with the vision. We'll take a minute to talk about the project and control and agency. We'll then expand our boundaries into the literature universe, come back to discuss the systems and processes, and follow it all with the affirmation that we're ready to write. Melville said, "When I go to sea a simple sailor." I chose this analogy because the protagonist in the story is about to embark on a complex, arduous, and hazardous endeavor. The literature review is the first step of a voyage that leads to eventual destination, or more appropriately, a dissertation. Melville writes about the pursuit of the whale. In this case, my pursuit is a thesis topic, research, and eventual dissertation. The first principle I stated was to remain a simple sailor. In this particular case, it's anticipation of the complexities that I want to keep simple. It begins with a vision. I envision a research, if done effectively, that could help contribute somehow to social change. Also, having my prior knowledge and experience, I revisited my assumptions I had in the field of disaster response, and namely islands or insular communities. And having a base understanding of resilience and how the field continually is working towards that concept, I began to develop my theme of global leadership and applying it towards resiliency. My experiences taught me wherever I enter into a situation where I feel I have no control, I need to find out where I have agency. Franklin wrote about this as the locus of control, where the sense of self-empowerment can carry over the worst at times. Not saying that this is the worst at times, but I wanted to remember that I had control over some things here. With that in mind, I directed my focus towards my passion, which is social justice. I started to plan towards my strengths and resources and expertise, which were disaster response and emergency management. I kept consistent with my desire for advocacy, how I wanted to shine the spotlight on marginalized communities, preferably those who are at existential risk. And finally, maybe the most important, I asked myself, will it keep me engaged for the 4+ years it's going to take to do this research? This led me to a place that I call the literal universe. Thanks to the resources such as DePoy and Gitlin and Harris, they provided essential standards for what connotates as valid information. The next question I had to ask myself is whether or not it was a compelling article. Is it something that could add to my thesis or even better, disrupt it? Is it a standard or a prime source for the field? Has it already been referred to or mentioned in another source? Such a large amount of information in my particular area of interest as great literature, I need to assess whether or not it could be qualified as literature. There are many opinion pieces as well, I found, and I automatically ruled those out as potential resources. There are a number of speeches, regulations, laws, and conference presentations. They all could be considered literature, but for the purpose of this initial round, I focused primarily on articles and books and dissertations. The final question and the criteria I asked myself is, do I want to use it? How do I feel about it? Is it consistent with the story I'm trying to tell? Not meaning I would exclude any source that was contradictory to what I was thinking or caused me to think twice, but just some articles were hard to comprehend. They didn't provide what they promised in the abstract, and for lack of a better word, boring. Here's my framework, and I call it my simple system. Establishes a repository on the Troy OneDrive. Categorize the type of references by the areas that I assume would be the research. For instance, disaster response, research methods, global leadership, Pacific area. I created an Excel sheet that served as my index. On that Excel sheet, I had naming and numbering conventions unique to the file, so I knew exactly what they were by looking at the number. And then once I downloaded a resource, I found it, I would load it right into the OneDrive and then have it ready to go into Zotero and review in Adobe. This all culminates with a repository that I think is ready to go. It's customized to my research. It's using the naming conventions, the cloud access, the index, all developed based on the area that I assume I'm going to be looking at. The method selection is everything I need in accordance with my research plan. And it's simple. Here's a recap. We covered the vision quest, the locus of control, the literary universe, the systems, and ensuring we're ready to write. Here are a list of my references I used. Thank you for your time and attention. Best of luck with your projects.